Having said that, we're waiting for a projector to come on. And today, I want to first introduce myself to you. My name is Ms. Rudner. You can call me Ms. R. And I am from UC Berkeley, where I teach in two areas. This area called Global Pathways, and another area which is the Art and Design Department of UC Berkeley Extension, where I teach college. I have understand that you are learning Dreamweaver. Is that true? Yeah? Well, fortunately, among other things that I am Adobe expert in, I've worked with Adobe for the better part of 18 years. I've written 3 books on Dreamweaver. So I'm very curious as to, number one, if you could tell me what version Dreamweaver you're using. Do you guys know what version? Version CS3. Okay, so you have a little bit of an older version, and I don't know how much you know about web design, so forgive me if I'm telling you things that you already know, okay? First question I have for you in terms of learning Dreamweaver is, and I don't know if we'll be able to understand quickly, but do you know what is the site window or the files window? That is a really important thing, because the site window, which looks like this panel, this is what I call, and when I teach about Dreamweaver, that is the command and control center of Dreamweaver. If you try to make a web design project without using the files window, which is also called, bless you, which is also called the site window, you will have problems with your website. And the problems that you will have is, after a while, the links that you make will break. So I want to make sure that everyone understands how to use the site window properly and why to use it. Because if you're not using it, you're going to start seeing some very upsetting problems. Bad things will start to happen. So we're going to talk about the site window. Since you're using earlier version, when you make a new file, you are most likely making your new file in HTML4. Maybe? Could you try? I don't have a cup. I really could use some water. I've been running around for the last 45 minutes. Thank you. So, thank you very much. So, that's number one. I want to make sure you understand what the site window is. It has 2 names. You can call it the site window. You can call it the files window. Okay? It has 2 names. That's number one. Number 2 is, I want you to understand, and this is so important, boys and girls, that HTML, which is the language that web pages are written in, right? You know that. That language is an evolving language. So over time, that language has more abilities and more features. So if you are making web pages in a Dreamweaver CS3, right? There are certain things that you won't see there that are in a more recent version, which is fine. You just need to know, right? It's like a little bit like going back in time, which is a cool thing, because why it is good is because it helps you to understand the foundation. So have you begun to make web pages yet? Anybody made a web page? Okay. So I think we should make a web page today. I think that we have enough time to begin to make a web page. So do you understand that usually there are 2 parts to making a web page? Is the HTML part, right? And the other part called the CSS. Have you heard of that? CSS? Yes, CSS? Yes, no. Give me a thumbs up if yes, you have heard of CSS. Give me a thumbs side if you have sort of think you might have, or thumbs down. are you talking about, you crazy woman? No? Okay. All right, so that's an important thing. So we're going to start with just some basic HTML, and I'm going to teach you the right way. The way that I'm going to teach you will prepare you for your future. When you begin to create web pages in more advanced versions of Dreamweaver, you'll be ready to go, okay? Okay, so I'm going to begin. Thank you for answering questions. I do for sure want to show you what I'm working on right now. But the version I have, I will tell you, the version I am working in Dreamweaver is a newer version. I can still do what you're doing, but the project that I'm working on is a bit different than what I'm going to teach you. Okay, so this is the page I'm working on right now, and you can see that I'm still filling in things. This is a template that I built, and once I build the template, then I use that template for different parts of my website. So understand that there is a difference between a web page, single page, and a website. A web page is one part of a collection of pages. A collection of pages that are linked together is a website. Is that fair? Does that make sense? Give me a thumbs up if that makes sense. You understand what I'm saying? Okay. So thank you. So the next thing is that most web pages, when you start a brand new website, the first page that you create has a standard file name. The standard file name is index, I-N-D-E-X, .html. HTML stands for hypertext. Hyper means, wow! That's what hyper means. It means alive. Hyper means living text, and ML is markup language. Hyper text, alive text, markup language. Now, is hypertext programming? No. Hypertext and web pages are not programming. They are coding. So, first things first, if you look on screen and then look on your computer, if you look, you should see in here a window here called Files. See if you can find this. Thank you very much. A window called Files. Do you see this window called Files? Yes or no? Yes or no? Now, I'm telling you this because it is incredibly important. This is how you create a website from scratch properly. This is the first step. So right now, if you look on my screen, you can see that I have already defined a project. With the Files window, what you do is, listen carefully as I explain this, because it is important. What you do with this window is you tell Dreamweaver the main folder where you will be putting all of the files for your project, also known as your website. So listen again. This is the Files window where you define your site. You tell Dreamweaver, hey, this is where all my project files are. Okay? So what I usually do when I'm teaching people from the first time is I ask you to go either to your documents, right? So I'm going to go to make a new Finder window. And in my new Finder window, and you can do this in your documents folder, I want you to make a folder. I'll do it, then you do it. Okay, watch first, and then you'll have a chance to do this. I have taught Dreamweaver about 3,000 times, easily. A lot of times, all over the United States, in New Zealand, around the world, everywhere. So here I'm going to go new folder, and I'm going to put here my first site. No spaces in the name. Do that. Find a place, put a folder, called My First Site with no spaces. You can trust me. I've done this before. Okay, so you need to know where this folder is. Make sure you know. I put my folder in the Documents folder, and I called it My First Site. My First Site. Okay, when you have that, go back to Dreamweaver. Make the folder, know where you put it. Very important, otherwise you're going to be confused. Okay? Do you have your folder? So I'll tell you something else. When I give you an instruction, especially in Dreamweaver, I don't mean to hurt your creativity, but especially in Dreamweaver, you need to follow instructions exactly. If you do not follow the instructions exactly in this course, you will likely have a problem. It's not like at the beginning, like you can be too crazy. You have to follow the rules. Otherwise, it will break, okay? Okay, so next we're gonna go back to the window. And again, we're gonna go to the Files window. So we're gonna go to Files, here it is. Now this is, in my window, it is showing that I have already started a project. My computer, guys, this computer is only 6 weeks old. I had a different computer right before I came to China, literally. 3 days before I came, my old computer died. It was really scary. Fortunately, I backed up the week before, so I had most of my work. But I had to recreate everything else, download all my software. So right now, my Dreamweaver only shows one project, the project I'm currently working on. But when you are working in Dreamweaver a long time, you will have more than one project. So this is how we get started. Are you ready to watch? Okay. So yours might have the desktop in here. Mine has a project, but I'm going to want to go ahead and start a new project. And I'm going to do that by going to this window where it says Site, New Site. Do you have a menu that says Site? Yes? Should have one called Site. True? All right, choose New Site. This is the one thing when I first started to work with Dreamweaver in 1997. Were you guys born in 1997? No. In 1997, I started to work with Dreamweaver, and this was the first thing that I did not understand. With my friend, who is a programmer and a coder, he told me this within the first week. You have to do this or your site won't work properly. So now you give your site a name. This name, are you guys listening? It's okay if you're not looking at me, but you need to be listening. Give me a thumbs up if you hear me. Clap once if you hear me. If you're listening, clap once. If you're listening, clap once. All right, you need to be listening. If you're not looking, you at least need to be listening, okay? All right, so this is a pet name for your project. This is not a name anybody else will see. This is the name so you remember, okay? So this is My Funny Website. You can call this anything you want to call it. No one will see this name. Will anyone see this name? No. Only you will see this name. Okay? You got it? Then, once you put in that name, let me see if your folder probably looks different. Then you need to tell it where your folder is. Now, you guys are going to have to help each other. This right here, we don't know that yet. We don't know that because this is the online connection. We don't have that yet. But over here, see what it's giving you an example? So we don't know that yet, but what we do need is to tell it what folder the work is in. So we can skip here, but we're going to go to next. Okay? So this is the part we don't know. We don't know this part because we don't know where we're going to put it online. So that's okay if we skip that, but we need to show it what folder we're going in. So the next one, so we don't know this. Give it a name, hurry up, faster. You need to put a name in. You don't have a lot of time to be picky right now. Give it a name, all right? And then you need to tell it what folder the work is in. So here, let me show you up here. I know it looks different, but please look, okay? In your next screen, you should see a little folder. So you're going to go next, and then you're going to click here on the folder. And here I'm putting it into my first site, like that. Do you need to watch? Watch again, please. So here, the next should say local, something about local site folder. And here you click this folder. I'm pretty sure it's in your next view, in your next screen. And then you're going to find that. And then you're going to make sure you choose that folder. And so it's saying, in this folder, in this place, on this login, in this user. Okay, can you find that where it says local or root folder? Local root folder? You might have to click the next button. That's it, he's got it. Click this folder. And find your folder that you made. Go next. It's not there, go next. Okay, maybe next again, that's it. So two nexts, two nexts. Okay, so you're somewhere, okay, all that stuff is in there? No, that's what you need to define as the site, okay? So next and next again, you're doing good. Go ahead, next again, good job, very good. You help each other, that's how you learn more. People learn more when they help each other. If you help each other, you will learn more. So you do next 2 times. Make sure that it's in that folder. So are we there? Okay, so I don't think so. FTP and RDS, I don't know, is that your stuff? I think so. Uh-oh. But if we go over here, we should be able to edit this. Is that you? That's all your stuff? Seems like a lot of stuff to have in that folder. Is this your site? I don't know. Let's go next. Next again. So it's not desktop, okay? Where is that folder you made? Edit RRR. Okay. Where is that folder? Look, I can read Chinese. Okay, make sure you are understanding what I'm saying, because what will happen if you do not put it in the right place? It's still not in RRR. It's still not there. So go next, and next again, and point back, click, and go into RRR. Make sure you choose. Are you reading the screen? Double click. Go ahead. I'll show you. Don't forget to read the screens, guys. When you're ready, okay, so where are you? Go through. Okay, and now click here. Okay. And do edit. Edit? No edit? Alright, so let's do it again. So you're going to go site window, new site. Site window, is that it? Yes. New site. First one. Okay, give it a name. Is that the name you want for your project? So do you understand why we have to do this? We have to do this, otherwise when you start to link your files together, right, this file links to that file, and you close and you open Dreamweaver, you're going to get an error message that says %20, %20. And that means, I don't know where the heck you're putting your stuff, but it's not in the right place. Okay, so here we go. So where is the folder that you use? Is it in desktop? Where's your work? Why do you come here? You should be able to figure it out from that folder. All right, who needs help? Who needs help? Who's helpable? Who needs help that's able to be helped? Who's coachable? Okay, so we're not desktop. So click that folder. Find your folder. The folder that you made. Did you make a folder? All right, and choose. Read it. Make sure you're in the folder. Double click on the folder. Okay, so not desktop. Click this folder. Good. Find your folder. My first site. Choose it. And do you have to choose it again? Yes. Good job on the reading. Okay, now you did it. That's how you do it. Okay? And now you close that. Make sure you save it and close it. Is that saved? My first site, yeah. Okay, and that's it. Should be done. You can skip everything else because we're not going to set that up right now. What is this asking? What is this asking? Well, do you want it on the desktop? I don't think so. Okay, so no. You should be in your folder. That's not right. That's not what I'm telling you to do. You're not following the directions. The directions are to make your own folder, not put it on the desktop. It has to be in your folder. If you put it on the desktop, it's going to break. It's not going to work. Right, so are you in a folder? So I'm going to tell you again, please listen. Number one is you have to follow these instructions exactly. If you don't do it exactly, your website won't work. Eventually, the links will break, and the whole thing will be a waste of time. At the very beginning, this moment in time, follow the directions. Make a folder somewhere on your computer, not the desktop. It can't just be anywhere. It has to be in a folder, and for this day, it should be my site. Okay, so find that folder. Where's that folder? Okay, so click next. I don't know, I can't, So click again. Okay, so I can see it's almost there. So it says my first site right there. That's on the desktop, but you're not in the folder. You're still on the desktop, I think. Because is all that stuff in your folder? I don't think so. I think that you have almost got it, but it's got to be in that folder. So here, click on Maggie's first, and then choose edit. Can you choose edit from here? Or choose that one. That's what it's, okay, that looks better now. That looks correct, because you can see, so you have something and then something else. So you can make Maggie's, and then inside there you put my first. But I wanted you to do my first. Okay, very close. Good try. Good try. Who else needs help? I see you're trying. Just a joke. That's fine. That's good. Okay. Right. So yes, select that and go next again. Good job. And then next again. That's the only thing we can set up right now because do you guys understand how a website gets to be online? Do you understand how a website becomes on the internet? No? Okay, so there's another thing that happens. So you create your, is this okay? Yeah. Okay. So you create your website. Okay? In Dreamweaver. My site. And you have index.html, you have pictures.gif, or pictures.jpg. Do I have your attention? And eventually, all these files have to go somewhere. Where do they go? They have to go to, or be moved. The files have to be moved or copied via FTP. FTP, file transfer protocol. File transfer, moving files, transferring files, protocol. So in Dreamweaver, there is an FTP tool. All right, so you want to see something? I think you should look up, okay? All right, so here, if I was finished, I would go save, and then, look, there's my site. There's my first site, and that's all I should see. But if I switch, please look up, please look up, please look up. I won't keep saying it, so you have to have some self-control. Look up, please. So here's everything that I'm working on for my current project. It's a huge project. You see this right here? You have this too in your Dreamweaver. This button here lets me connect over here to my remote server. What is a remote server? Remote server means a different computer, usually owned by a big company that specializes in hosting websites. So there are companies, that's what they do. They have big rooms of servers, and you move your files to their server in a specific place called URL. You know what is URL? URL is uniform resource locator. My URL is www.rudner, that's my last name, .com. So they are your host. You have to move it to the host. The host is at your remote server. So if I throw a party and you come to my house, I'm the host, right? So the host takes all your files, and their servers are set up to put your files, bless you, on the internet. That information, if you're looking again, please, for the remote server, you see that says remote server here? That information is available if I look here, and as I said, you don't have that today, but if you look at mine and I want to edit this, and I go to servers, are you watching? So this is some information here that I have for my host, iPower, FTP, right, File Transfer Protocol. You guys with me? So this is important because unless you understand this, there's kind of no point to having a website. So first you make it on your computer, then you move it to the host. Right now, you have it where? You have it in that folder that you just made. So who has their folder? Raise your hand if you completed your folder. Yes, no? My Funny website, do you have a folder? Yeah? You're still trying to figure that out? I've got some empty web pages here. All right, I think you guys are good. Okay, so let's make a page. Are you ready to make a page? You're like, finally, God. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to tell you the right way to make a page. Do it this way. Don't do it a different way. Do it this way. Click on the folder that has the name of what you gave your project. Here, it's called My Funny Website. Click that folder, one click. Then, right mouse click. If you have a file open, please close the file. Don't use that file you just made. It's not going to work, right? Okay, so you're going to go Control click. Are you watching? You're going to go right up, click this folder. Class, class, class. When I say class, 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 you guys say yes, yes, yes. Okay? Class, class, class? Yes, yes, yes. Excellent. Please look up. Watch. So you select the folder, and then you right mouse click, and you choose New File. That makes sure that the file goes in the right place. If the file is not in the right place, it's not good. Okay, so now we give it a name. This is the home page name. What did we say that the home page name is always going to be? Index. So go ahead and put in index. Make sure you put this HTML. Don't forget. All right, put it twice. Don't need it twice. Index.html. And now you have the beginning of your first real beginning, correctly done setup. The setup is now accurate. Then you can open this file. Now, you can see here it says index.html. Are we together? Now, depending on the kind of file that you want to make, you can do different things. Please go to Window and find this thing called Insert. Insert. The very important Insert panel. So we have the Properties panel, and we have the Insert panel. Do you see your Insert panel? Make sure you have your Insert panel. Are you guys finding it? Your name. So you need to go back a step. Website design. Class. Yes. Website design requires good memory and accuracy. If you cannot be accurate and you cannot focus, you need to get focused. So you can remember where you put things and the names of things, or you need to make a lot of notes. I have a notebook. All the time I write down notes in case the phone rings. Because I'm thinking, oh, I gotta do this next, that next, okay. Hello, 1 second please. Next, write, because I'm gonna forget. Okay? So when you make that folder, and I said make a folder and remember where you put the folder, that is what you needed to do. You need to be focused and accurate. So if you made the folder, good job. Then you should be able to put in an index.html. Don't let it be untitled. Okay? Good job. Index. Index. Untitled. Up. Yours is called untitled. Close it and rename that index. No untitled. No untitled. No untitled. Should be called index. I-N-D-E-X. Okay, so that's nice, but it should be called index. So it's over here. Good job. That's right. Good. I can't tell because that was in Chinese. But if it's not called index, the web host will not recognize it as your home page. Part of the internet, the reason the internet works is because each URL, each website address is unique. Right? There's only one www.rutger.com. There's only one theartofabigail.com. Right? There's only one bestplacestoteitinchina.com. Only one. That's the most important sites to see in Nanjing.com. Only one. And at each one of those places is one file called index.html, and the uniform resource locator looks in that folder based on that address, and it finds index.html. Okay? So it has to be called index.html, or it won't work. It's simple. Some rules in web design have to be followed exactly. The creativity of web design comes when you start understanding the rules and how to work with the rules. Okay, so does everyone have a page? Okay, so here's what we're going to do next. Please look. I know you have not made a page yet, so we're going to type, I think the first thing we should do is skip something, which is learning how to format text, but go right into a design, okay? Because you're going to be bored and we're probably running out of time. So here's what I want you to do. Please look up, class. Yes. Do you see on your insert panel this word table?
Yeah.
Click it. Oops, don't get hurt. Okay, over here, guys, rows go across, right? Like rows in a theater. And columns go up and down,
Yes.
like columns in a building.
Yes.
So we're going to start with a very simple table, 3 rows and 3 columns. And we're going to give it a width, a specific width of 800 pixels. We're going to give it a border thickness for now of 1. Later, we'll change this to 0. And we're going to put here cell padding 8, because I like 8. And cell spacing, for now, we'll put 0. So what we are doing is we are making a structure to put our content inside. Okay, we're going to click OK. Woohoo! We have a web page. Yay! Yay us! We have a web page. Okay, so this is one of my favorite structures because this is a very powerful structure. With this structure, we can do many things. Once you have this, we're going to learn something else. What you see right here, class, 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 do you see this mark? This mark here, that is called asterisk. Asterisk. The asterisk means the file has not been saved since the last change. If we go file save, ta-da, no more asterisk, no more asterisk. So then again, if I click in here and I start typing some text, hello world, I see the asterisk. Are you with me? Yes, no, maybe? Okay, over here, please look again. Watch what I'm going to do. Class, class, class. Look up. Good job, guys. Watch what I'm going to do. Look up, look up. Class, 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 look up. Okay, good job. So I'm going to watch what I'm doing, guys. I'm going to click inside and drag across in one motion. It's not click and drag, it's click and drag. Fast. Click and drag, like that.
Yes.
And then down here, very important. You see where it says here, row. See that? I'm going to click that button. Click that button, and now I have the top of my web page. This is called a span. A span means to go across. So I wish I had 5 days with you. I could have you being amazing in 5 days. Okay, you ready to look up again? You write some words? Did you span? So click here and just write something, it doesn't matter. Don't be careful. So you're learning the technique right now. You don't have to make the most interesting web page, you have to learn how to make a web page. So you're going to click here, you're going to drag straight across. Okay, only the top row though. Click in. Look where my finger is. Look after that character. At the end of this one. The end. Okay, that's good. Good job. So you need to put this one down here. Oh, you almost had it. Here, look. Down here. Look that. Right where I'm pointing at. Drag this. Nope. Here, huh? That. Yes. See what happened? You span the tag. Good job. You're welcome. Do this. Span so that you can open it up. Now there are more rules I have to tell you to make this work correctly. How many more minutes do we have? How many minutes? Someone please tell me how much longer we have? 0 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay, so let me tell you something. The overall table width, please look. I'm going to click and drag this way. Watch. Click out here and drag across this way. Look, width is 800. But these are called cells. The cells do not know how big to be. So if I put another word in here, and I put here, what is the size, and I press return, things start changing sizes. Things sit in different places. So look again, I don't have much time. If I click and drag across, and down here I go vertical, I can tell it to put everything at the top. If I click it, see what it did? It doesn't know what size to make that. So in here I'm going to tell it the size. So I click, and I'm going to type here width, and overall is 800, so I'll make this 250. 250 there. And then here I'm going to put, for this one, also 250. And that leaves me with 300 for the middle. This is something that once you do it a few times, you will understand, but you do have to practice. So now it knows what size to make things. One more thing before the bell rings. Please look up, class, class, class. Yes. Here's a really important thing of how to learn what you're doing. Are you looking? There's a button. One says code, one says split, one says design. If you go to split, and then you look here, you can see in your code. This is what you're doing as you do it. So this is your table. This is everything in the table. This is the type in that cell. There is the span, cost span. Everything that you put in here will show up. If I want to put in a picture, insert image, Dreamweaver will know if it's not in the folder. This is huge. What is going to happen is Dreamweaver will know it's not in the folder and will ask me, do you want to copy that into the folder? Because if you don't, it's not going to work later. Yeah, I want to copy it. Yes. And there, I love it. It's fabulous. It's going to go into my first site. Save it. I know the picture's too big, okay? I need to resize the picture, but for now, I will close and go back to design view. Oh, what a beautiful picture. And here, again, I can use properties, window properties, and here I can tell the picture to change size because it's way too big. I'll just change it to 280 and hit return. And then when I click again, everything goes back to normal. And then if you go back to split, look, this is the tag for writing the picture. Another very important thing that I can tell you that I think is incredibly important is the w3schools.com. If I'm online, I can't get that. Let's go to CNN. It might just be, let's say, learn from W3 Schools. This is one of the best places to learn how to write web pages, HTML tutorial. Can't get there because I don't have my VPN on, but you don't want to do that. So we can do here another one here, learn HTML. See, this is probably the most important, most popular one around the world. But here's a good one. Making your first web page. So that's what we're doing. We're making our first web page. You can learn a huge amount from reading about the web. You can learn a huge amount by going design. Okay, here's what I just did. Here, check it out. Guys, look up. I'm going to select this text that says hello world, and down here I'm going to change it to use a different size of font. I'm going to use what's called a heading 1, that's the biggest. And then if I go to split, I can see here it has H1. If you're really listening closely and you decide that you are going to be into web design in your future, understanding H1 is important. Understanding what are known as the element tags. If you want to learn more, you need to learn the element tags. Tags are the words, okay? The tags are the words around the words. These are the tags. The tags tell the other words what to do. So we start here with two sections. We have HTML, HTML. Most tags are in pairs. Hello and goodbye. Open and close. Okay, and then we have section, the head section. Just like a person, a head. And then here we have the body. The head tells important information. What language, what country, what typeface. Keywords. Important data to help the user find your page when they have a search engine. And the body is what it looks like. Inside the body, we have the table tag. That's what we built here, this table. And inside of the table, we have rows and columns. Strange thing to know. TR, tag, is table row. But the people who made up HTML were engineers, not designers. So instead of them making the name for a table column, TC for table column, they called it TD for table data. So we have element tags including, most tags have an open and close tag, right? The close tag looks like this. That's open, that's closed. So we have open table, we open the table. And then later we close the table. And everything else goes in between, so usually this table tag is not going to be so close, right? The table tag is going to be, oh, nice mess. Very nice, I did that myself. Okay, table down here. Right? And then in here we're going to have, what we're going to see here is rows, TR, and then end TR. That's one row. So if you look over here, you see TR and TR. Okay, row. All right, let's keep going here. The bell hasn't rung. I don't know why, but that's awesome. So then here we're going to put, over here, please, look. Look. Pass. So now, whatever words I put there, I'm going to delete. Delete those words. And in here, I'm going to set you up here to make something else. We're going to go insert, and we're going to put a table inside here, and this is for navigation. And this is going to have, let's say, 4 rows and 1 column. And the width is going to be 250. And when we click OK, now we can put in home. Essays, photos, and here, contact me. Try to keep up. I know it's hard. You have to be focused. Okay, so these would be links to other pages. Are you with me? You doing okay? Okay. And then save your page. Make sure you save your page. You can do it. You're very smart. You would not be in this school if you were not very smart. It's a very special school with very special kids. You're doing a great job. So you're going to put something in each one, and then hopefully, if we have another moment, we can add something else. Here, let's click in there. You're good. Come down here, follow what I'm saying. And we're going to go, I want to split that. Click this one. Yep. And tell it 3. Tell it 3. Okay, that's fine. Okay. So that's huge. You have to resize that one. Let me help you. So we're going to change the size. You change that to 250. Okay. I know, it's insane. Okay, so you're all right. Here, do this. Whoa, crazy boy. Okay, so click and drag across. Put your cursor right here. Up, see that black arrow? Come back over here. Up. You see the black arrow? Let me show you. So what we're trying to do is this, and then this. And then here, we're going to tell this to be now it's set. And then here, we're going to put another one. So you take it. We're going to make this one 200, and we're only going to have 3 rows and one piece. Now you're caught up. All right, so I know some people are ready. I can see some people have already done that. So for everybody who is ready, okay, make it smaller. Change size. Some people even put in a photo. Very good. So if you're ready for the next step, I want you to watch it, and you can help everyone else next class, okay? If you're not ready and you're still working on something, that's okay. But if you did this step, please watch so you can help the rest of the class. Are you ready? People who are ready? Okay, so watch. You're going to love it. Stay with me. Okay, so I'm going to do this. I'm going to go File. I already saved it. But I'm going to go Save As. Stay with me. And I'm going to call this Photos. Photos.html, and I'm going to save it. Now, we have one called Index. We have one called Photos. Here, where it says Photos, I'm going to double click. Are you watching? Don't look away. And I'm going to, where it says Link, I'm going to link it to, I'm lying. This is Photos. Cancel. This is Photos. So here, I'm going to link it to Home. So I select this text. Which page am I on? Photos. I'm going to link it, click to my first site, Index. Okay, and save it. And now I'm going to go over here. Guys, I know you can do this. Watch. Here I'm on Index. That's the home page. Double click. And here I'm going to link to Photos. Now, right now, both of the pages look the same. Over here, I'm going to just change the word here to say, my photos. Okay? So the Photos page has a link to the home page. The home page has a link to the Photos page.
Okay.
Hi. Is it time?
Cool.
Okay, well, I do have some food, and I feel dedicated to making sure these guys get the lesson, because I got lost on campus for about 25 minutes today. So I'm not going to leave right now and do that.
Okay, I was supposed to take you on.
I know I'm sick.
So,
I have a banana and an orange. I'm not going to go. I'm going to stay here. I want these kids to feel like they can go. Okay, so Bob, watch. You got that? Did you make the links? Yeah. Okay, advanced students, you're going to help everyone else do this. Are you ready? All right, kids, please look up. You're going to go, I might have to come and show you this on your computer because I think it's going to look different. I think there's a globe, but let me just show you real quick and then I'll come help you. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to do what's called preview this. And look what happens. If I go to Photos, look, my photos, Home. So now you have 2 pages working. So, good job, honey. You're doing so well. All right, so save your page, and we'll preview it. This is the button for preview. Click that. And then whatever, say yes. All right, so we need to preview. Where's the preview button? Yes, what was that? How about, let's try this. How about site, and then preview site? We'll say preview. I might ask you to save your pages. And yes, oh, this globe, that globe. Yes. First one. Oh, yes! Are they changing? Is it changing? All right, very close. If you made the links, you should have something on each page that lets you know you're on a new page. Who else put the links? I know you're trying. Okay. All right, so did you make the photo page? Okay, so one thing is, we're gonna do file, and then save as. Save as. Save as, not save, save as. Okay, and call it, make sure it goes in the right folder. And call it photos. You're going too fast. You're skipping a step. Okay,
So right now, they are on the next one.
so like,
And you can catch up with them next week.
all right, guys.
If you come earlier next week, like,
Definitely.
make us work.
All right, so we have to stop or else you're gonna starve and you won't have lunch. And that would be bad. Next week, I will come earlier for sure and we'll make up the time. I'm sorry, we have to stop now because you need to eat. We don't want you to faint to pass out on the floor later. I know you're having a good time, I'm having a wonderful time with you. Okay, I'm gonna come earlier next time and we'll make up the time. But you need to go to lunch now. Okay, kids? Save your file. Make sure you know where your folder is. Where's your folder? Make sure you know. Where is your folder? Make sure you know. Don't forget. It's extremely important. You're wonderful students. Thank you.